There's many great rivalries in college football. You could talk Ohio State, Michigan. You could talk about what I think is the biggest one of them all, the Iron Bowl. We'll get to that later on. Speaking of Auburn, though, how about the Deep South's oldest rivalry? They're supposed to meet at Jordan Hare this upcoming weekend. What's it going to look like? I don't know, but we're going to break it down and get into this game. Let's go. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Christian Ballard here with Ballard Sports Media coming at you with a preview video today looking at one of the bigger rivalries in the SEC. I think it's a bigger SEC rivalry than it is so much in college football, although it is a big game. It's Georgia and it's Auburn. It's SEC East on SEC West. They call it the Deep South's oldest rivalry. I dare y'all to say that 20 times fast or even 3 times fast. I don't know. Anyway, we're going to look at this game here. It's a big upcoming game. You have Georgia undefeated. You have Auburn, who only has one loss going back to Penn State. They're 4-1. They're ranked number 18. It's number 2 versus number 18 when you look at it. But before we get into this year's game, let's look at some history between both of these teams. And yes, as someone becoming a sportscaster, I try not to show favoritism. I try to be fair here. I like to do the stadium or environment for any preview game that I do on here. So this right here, I don't even know why I'm pointing, but this here in the background is indeed Jordan Hare Stadium. But let's full screen this. Let's look at what these two teams have done in this series history. It met in Georgia for the longest time, talking a decade and a half. We're talking 15 years. They pretty much met every single year. Auburn won the first game 10-0. Then it was Georgia. Then it was Auburn, Georgia. And it kind of went back and forth, right? First time a team won 2 in a row. Technically speaking, 1902 and 1903, 12-5 Georgia, 22-13, and so on. I'm not going to go through every game. There's been some big games and some big moments. You look at it overall. This is the 126th edition upcoming this Saturday. They alternate, at least now, every other year between Auburn and Athens. And a couple years ago, as you guys probably know, and in case nobody knew, it was the first time ever that both teams had met twice in 1 year when they met in the SEC title game. Auburn blew out Georgia 40-17 back on November 11th, 2017. They went on to win the West, and Georgia whooped them left and right, 28-7. Of course, that was the whole year with 2nd and 26, and Alabama shouldn't have got in the playoffs, but ultimately it worked out in their favor in some way, shape, or form. So, but this is a very huge rivalry. It is one of my most favorite rivalries in college football when you look at it. You look at it, 126 meeting upcoming this Saturday, 4 days away. At least I'm recording this on October 5th. They play on the 9th this Saturday. Georgia leads it all time, 61, 56, and 8. So it's not like Georgia necessarily owns Auburn, even though if you want to say, hey, we won the past 4, yeah, okay. Past 3 years, you got to also include that rematch playing twice in 1 year in 2017. Starting there, they've won the past 4, at least, meetings between these two teams, and they've done it based on defense, 28-7, 27-10, 21-14, and then 27-3. 27-6, I'm sorry, was last year. So overall, yes, it's a huge rivalry, normally back and forth. And I kind of noticed something too. I noticed a team can normally get some good streaks going in this rivalry. Let's start here. Let's see. 2004, for example, Auburn won 2 in a row. 2006 to 09. Georgia won each and every one of those 4 games. Auburn then gets them in 2010. They went on to win a title that year. Georgia won 2. Auburn won in 2013. And then, these 3 games here were by Georgia. And then, of course, Auburn with a big upset. Auburn had a heck of a season in 2017. When they beat Georgia, they beat the number 1 team. They were ranked number 10. They went on 2 weeks later, and I might just have to do a whole thing on 2017 Auburn. I don't know, because this was pretty cool actually. Hold on. Sorry about that. Quick phone call, and I wish I could pause recording on here. But anyways, folks, so you look at this series. It's 126 overall meeting, and yes, Georgia owns Auburn, at least for right now. But it's one of those more so back and forth. And when you notice, Auburn is good at winning at home against Georgia. It might not look like it on paper, but they also have some very competitive games when you look at it. And 9 times out of 10, too, Auburn, when they have both Georgia and Alabama at Jordan-Hare Stadium, they normally get either both of them or one of them. And very rarely, they don't beat either one of them at home. So Georgia's in a situation where, and let me remind you guys of something. I picked them to maybe win the national title this year, right? I said I think it's going to be Georgia-Oklahoma. I never said Georgia's going 15-0. I never said they were going to win every single game. Never said that. All right, I might have previewed that earlier in the spring. When you go back, you watch my Georgia preview video. When you look at it, yes, Georgia is a great team. They're not taking their foot off the gas. They're better than Auburn. They should win this game, right? But is it ultimately an upset if Auburn wins? Well, yes, in terms of Georgia is the favorite in this game, but Auburn, they're used to winning. They've pulled some upsets even in recent years. So Georgia, it's very close, but they do have an edge over Auburn. I do think they're a better program right now. I do think they're a better team. They got a first-year head coach too, and let's, give Brian Harsin some credit. He's doing pretty good so far when you look at it. And again, you look at the rankings too. It's number 2 on number 18. Auburn still only has the loss to Penn State, who is the number 4 team and 5-0 right now. It's not looking like that's a bad loss for Auburn at all. It's a great loss. And you look at it, Auburn is using that to build some momentum. And they struggled against LSU last week too. TJ Finley, who transferred from LSU, was the starting quarterback for the Tigers in that game. And it seemed like they had something going with them, maybe the week before, whatever. But then Bo Nix had to come in. And Bo Nix does something an Auburn quarterback has not done in quite some time, and that's go to Death Valley and win on the road to give Auburn a victory at Tiger Stadium. First time that has happened since 1999. That's pretty huge. Georgia's not LSU, though. Let's compare these quarterbacks anyway, right? The quarterback comparison. Right. JT Daniels, let's start with him. And I made a typo here. 54, not of 7, but actually 71. I do apologize for that. He's 54 of 71 so far on the year, right? He's passing for over 500 yards, 567 yards. He's got 5 touchdowns. He has taken 2 sacks, and he's thrown 2 picks. That's going to happen with some quarterbacks. That's going to happen. Compare that to Bo Nix, though. 86 of 147, 779 yards, 6 touchdowns, no picks, 2 sacks. JT Daniels also has 2 sacks here. So what do you notice? Well, Bo Nix has more passing yards, only 1 more touchdown. I'm just going to say, though, I do think Georgia has much better talents. Now, do these stats comparing them, right? Does this say anything about, Bo Nix is better than JT then? No. No, in fact, honestly, I mean, the way they play, the way that they throw the ball and everything, their poise and athleticism, I think is kind of similar. I would give the edge, obviously, to JT Daniels, though. I do think, ultimate and not far better, but just better overall as a quarterback for Georgia that Bo Nix is for Auburn. And I love Bo Nix. I think he's got great character. I think he's very athletic. He's mobile. He's good in the pocket. If you put him in the right position and the O-line is blocking and protecting him, yes, he can read a defense, be safe, and make a good play. This is one of those situations here where you look at Bo Nix stats compared to JT's stats for Georgia, and you say Bo Nix is a better quarterback on paper. But on paper doesn't mean necessarily, this is what your talent is. Like, you don't look at this and say, well, JT Daniels is so talented. He has 2 sacks on the year and 2 picks. No, he's got a great arm. He's strong. Plus, you also got to think Georgia does rely quite a bit on the run game, which is very, very good, right? So, who do I give the edge? I do give the edge in quarterback play. It's close. I'm not dogging Bo Nix, but I just think that talent-wise, JT Daniels is a better quarterback. And you also look at this here too. Let me share the screen again. Let's look at the stats for both of these. Here, both of these teams, right? You look at it here, team stats, right? And again, the spread here is 14.5, Georgia. Do they cover that spread? They could. We'll get to that later. Defensively, there's a pretty big gap there. 4.6 points allowed per game for Georgia, right? 16.2 allowed for Auburn. Auburn's not playing too bad defense. It's not too bad. A little shaky, but, they can definitely improve, I think. Points per game offensively. It is literally a point difference to Georgia, who's 41. Auburn scoring about 40 points a game. Competition-wise, I mean, come on. Arkansas, LSU, previous games here. Arkansas, I think, is a better opponent than LSU. Georgia State versus Vandy. I don't know who's better. I think both teams are pretty bad. UAB versus Alabama State here in week 2. Listen, clearly, outside of maybe the week 5 and the week 3, clearly Auburn has played a weaker schedule, right? I mean, well, what am I trying to say? I don't know. South Carolina or Penn State, those matchups in week 3, who had the tougher opponent? Auburn. And that's their only loss. They only lost by 8, too. They handled a whiteout in ways they just couldn't finish the game. And then UAB versus Alabama State, who you taking? I think UAB is a really good program and a good team right now. Historic, by the way, as well. So, but again, comparing these quarterbacks and these teams is, I don't even know why I'm trying. Yes, Georgia is the better team. Far better, right? I mean, they are looking like a championship team, believe it or not, this year for Georgia. Not that they haven't been competitors or competing in the past couple years, which they have, But truly, they're getting back to one of those, no, seriously, we could do it this year type of years. And I really think that they could do that. This is going to be a great game. Again, you look at the quarterbacks here. 54 of 71, 567 yards, 5 touchdowns, 2 picks, and 2 sacks for JT. Compared to Bo Nix, 86, 147, 979 yards and 6 touchdowns. No picks yet, but 2 sacks. On paper, again, I'll say on paper, Bo Nix looks better. But I feel like there's something about the leadership and style of JT Daniels that, yes, I would say he is better than Bo Nix. I'm going to be honest. But that being said, it's not like there's a far distance. I think both are very talented and really good. Some players to watch outside of the quarterbacks. We've gone through that. Let's just put that aside. For Georgia, who should you watch out for? Let's look at that real quick here. Look at Georgia and their players right here. Some key guys I think you need to watch out for, right? Obviously, we mentioned the quarterbacks. Let's keep going. I'd keep an eye on Zamir White for the running back position. I'd also maybe keep an eye on James Cook too. He's probably the second best runner on this team. He's got 34 carries this year, 210 yards, 2 touchdowns. He's averaging 6 yards a carry on average. That's 1 yard a little bit more than Zamir White. But he has more carries, more yards, and double the touchdowns of James Cook at 4. He's got 275 yards on the year. Both running backs are really just as good as the other. I just think Zamir White clearly is the go-to guy for the running back position for Georgia, and I think that'll be the case this week. Brock Bowers is a key receiver you want to look for in the tight end position. He's got 18 receptions, 272 yards, and 4 touchdowns in total on the season. And he's averaging 15 yards on average per reception. I mean, he can take it, run with it. He's very strong. He's a good blocking tight end as well, I think. I'd also put in a key player you want to keep your eye on defensively is Channing Tindall, the linebacker. He has 9 assist tackles, 15 solo, 24 tackles, leads the team. He's got 1 sack, for a loss of 4 yards. So he's not so much of the let's go sack the quarterback guy. But, yeah, if you're going to run the ball, you might want to watch out for maybe a guy like Channing Tindall. Look out for Lewis Seen. Nakobe Dean is a key guy. He's got 3.5 sacks for a loss of 26 yards in total. He's got 18 tackles. I could go down the list of these guys for Georgia. Jordan Davis, Devontae Wyatt, Chris Smith, Darion Kendrick. I could go on, right? These guys are so talented on the defense. Like Georgia's defense is so stacked. It doesn't matter who you put out there. Oh, we lost our entire starting lineup. We got to go out there and, play this offense, and we don't have it. Plug the guys in and play. They might not be as good as the starters, but I guarantee you Georgia, with the depth that they have, yes, it is talent. They are at least talented enough to where they're not going to cost you a game. Most likely. You'd hope. But you got to be able to trust them. So, clearly, bottom line here is that I would give the edge a little bit more so on defense to Georgia. And you might say I'll give the edge on offense to Georgia as well. It's kind of a coin flip. I really don't think Auburn's offense is too bad either. Again, you mentioned here 567 passing yards, 275 rushing yards, JT Daniels, Zamir White there, and go on. The lead interceptor, most interceptions by a single player, Christopher Smith, with 2. Channing Tindall has 24 tackles, right? That being said, let's just move on from Georgia's players. Let's look at Auburn, though. Right. I mean, I've gone on enough. You guys get what Georgia's got. They have elite pass rush, elite secondary, and elite offense. Like, it seems like this is probably Georgia's most complete team in quite some time. Definitely for Kirby Smart. Now, look at Auburn. 979 yards for Bo Nix. Jarquez Hunter is the lead rusher at 447 yards. John Samuel Schenker, 236 receiving yards. Lead tackler is Chandler Wooten, a linebacker, 35 tackles. 2 interceptions, the most by a single player, at least for Auburn. Roger McCreary, he's a key defensive back that I think could be maybe a good matchup for a Georgia receiver, such as maybe a Jermaine Burton or a Donnie Mitchell or whoever out there. Kearis Jackson's a key guy to watch out for on the receiving side of Georgia. But watch your eyes on Roger McCreary. If he's healthy and can play, he will. Overall, the most rushing attempts by a player is Tank Bigsby at 74. But he does not lead in yardage. Jarquez Hunter is a key back that they have at 42 attempts on the season, leads in yards at 447. He's averaging about 10 yards a carry. He's really, really good. Longest play of 94 yards. He's got 3 touchdowns. He basically, the thing between him and Tank Bigsby is Tank Bigsby, who was a key freshman or whatever last year for him, he was right there, right? He was really, really good. He's very elite. 74 attempts, right? So he has 74 attempts and 4 touchdowns where he leads, right? He has more attempts, but if you want to really look at what matters in the run game is how many yards do you have? What are you averaging? What's your biggest run play of the season? And Jarquez Hunter has all of that. Is Auburn going to go with Hunter over Bigsby? I don't know. But those are the 2 key guys in the run game that have been a very good factor for this offense. Mentioned John Samuel Schinkner from Auburn, tight end, most receptions, most yards, longest play of 35. He does not have a touchdown yet. Hold on one second. I apologize there. Overall, though, I mean, it's close. On paper, it seems like some of these Auburn players, just I don't know if I want to say they outmatched Georgia, but they definitely could be a threat for the Georgia defense in ways. Chandler Wooten, again, I mentioned 35 total tackles. He's tied with Zakoby McClain. Interceptions, the most we mentioned was Roger McCreary. There's a lot of zeros on this board. There's a lot of depth, though. There's a couple key guys on defense, but again, got to give it full on to Georgia because Georgia's like plug and play right there. They just put some guys in, and they can make great plays to ultimately stop a run game, stop a passing game, whatever they got to do. Right? Which leads me to this. Let's just go ahead and end this. And I want to go ahead and sum it up for you guys here. Both of these teams are great. And you might be saying you'd be a fool to pick against Georgia. And I would not doubt that. But I'm telling you, anybody out there, and I've argued with Trenches or whoever, right? If you're sitting there and you're saying Georgia's got this on lockdown, no cap, they're going to go into Jordan-Hare and they're going to win the game, no problem, right? I'm not saying that they can't win, right? I'm saying that they could, but honestly, if you want my honest opinion, I think we're underestimating Auburn. I get giving all the credit to Georgia and what they can do defensively. But that Auburn offense with Bo Nix, it looked pretty good last week in that LSU win. Oh, LSU's not Georgia. Okay. Well, The point is that this is a tough environment. We're filling up stadiums and everything. I guarantee this is going to be a packed house at Jordan-Hare, right? 5-0 Georgia at number 2 versus a 4-1. Only one loss for Auburn so far against Penn State. They're number 18 right now. They're at least a top 20 team. You know, they might not be top 15. They might not be top 10. That doesn't matter. It's a 2-on-18. Was Auburn supposed to win that game in 2017? 40-17 at least? That was out of nowhere. Georgia's the number 1 team in the country. Seems like offense is going great. Defense is going great, but they gave up 40 and they only scored 17. Georgia, right? Don't give me this. We had Jake. I don't want to hear that, right? Expect the unexpected in rivalry games like this. Seriously. This is going to be a heck of a matchup. I'm excited. I'm intrigued. Right? It's top 25. It's you know, I just think Auburn is better than what people are making them out to be. I think that. I'm not going to say Georgia's overrated. I'm not going to say they're underrated. Much respect. There's just a part of me, and this is where my score prediction and everything comes in. I would hate to pick against Georgia this year. I really would. But, man, I'm sure Auburn's got some momentum or something on their shoulder for this game this weekend. They know what's at stake. They know what this game is. They know the history. They know. You think Brian Harsin walked in here not knowing about it? He knows what's up. I'm sure he's going to have a pretty good game plan. It's not going to be a blowout. It's going to be close. I think there's key players on both sides of the ball for both teams. I don't think it's a shootout. I think it's defense, and I think it's close. And I think it may come down to who has the ball last, right? Honestly. And I know I'm going to catch some crap for this. I know it. With this being said, folks, go ahead and give you my final score prediction here. Give me Auburn 29-27 over Georgia. Listen, I understand, Georgia fans. Oh, you don't know what you're messing with. Auburn doesn't know what you're messing with. I understand that. But, man, I don't know what it is about Auburn right now. But I feel like that LSU win, especially for what Bo Nix did coming in there. They scored 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter. The defense stepped up and shut out LSU. This was in a crowded Death Valley, right? Oh, LSU's not Georgia. I understand that. It's still a road game. Be honest with yourselves, though. Some of y'all picked LSU to win this game. Auburn was going to slip up a bit, were they not? Seems like LSU did pretty good, at least on defense in ways. That fourth quarter, I don't know what it was, but Bo Nix just seemed like he had this it factor, this poise, this good decision-making. He had good O-line. He tucked it, he ran, he threw, and I feel like that'll carry through just a little bit in this game. I wouldn't be surprised at either outcome. The only thing I'm saying, I just don't – if it's a blowout like it was in 2017, that's the only thing that would surprise me, right? It wouldn't surprise me if Georgia won this game. Not at all. No. They should win this game. I just have a feeling Auburn's going to pull it off. I don't know what it is, but I just have that gut feeling. I don't know what it is. Yeah, Ballard, you said Georgia was going to win the national title this year. You're picking them to lose. I didn't say anything about them going 15-0. I said this might be their best chance and they could win the title. Preseason pick. But, I mean, even in 2017, last time they lost Auburn, they lost this game in a blowout, by the way. They still won the East. They still got to Atlanta. They won the SEC over Auburn. They at least made it to a national title. I know they didn't win it. We know who did. But, still, I'm going to give it to Auburn here. I just am. I feel like it'll come down to maybe who has the ball last or a late stop or something, right? Yeah, JT could get it done. No problem. Bo Nix, I think, could get it done too, right? I honestly, you want to hear a scenario? I think they'll be down 1 point, and I think Bo Nix might drive them into field goal range, and Anders Carlson gets maybe a game-winning kick. That's what I think. So you can clown me all you want to. You can doubt me. You can say this or that, whatever. But that's just my opinion on this. Anyway, I'm just going to stop talking. I'm just going to let's see what happens, right? It's not like I'm picking Auburn to outright win. It's close. 2 points. 2 points, right? It's a 14-point spread. I really don't think Auburn's getting enough credit in this game. Right? I really don't think so. Right? If I'm wrong about this, not necessarily Georgia losing, right? If they win it close, I don't want to hear it. But if it's a blowout and Georgia just straight owns Auburn, I'll come on here. I don't know. I'll sing the Georgia fight song. Or the Auburn. I don't know. You guys let me know. If I'm wrong about this score, you guys decide Georgia fight song or Auburn fight song. I'll come on here and sing either one of them. Whichever one you think will humiliate me more. I don't know. I'll do something like that. If I'm wrong, at least in terms of the score or something. Heck, just my prediction in general. If Georgia wins this game, right, and Auburn doesn't get the victory, I'll come on here and I'll sing the Georgia fight song. There. That's settled and done. I love each and every one of you. I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. Do me a favor. Hit that thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button if you're new to the channel. You can also hit the bell. Get notified when I post a new video, premiere a video, go live, all that amazing stuff. I love you guys. Jesus loves you as well. He's got an amazing plan for your life. I really believe that. And if you believe it too, it'll come through. Hey, hit that thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button. Love you guys. God bless. Jesus loves you. Y'all have an amazing week. And as always, folks,
roll down Tide.
We'll see you later. Love y'all.
I'm not going to, so quit asking.
Good boy, son.